Wednesday. It is hump day. It is a very great day for the Trump cabinet and for the citizens of the United States of America, if I may say so myself. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. Let me know. I try to wait a second to make sure that you guys can really hear before I jump into all of the good stuff. Um, but I want to make sure you guys can hear me because I would like to start off with what I completely missed today. I did not realize one that today is Wednesday because Wednesday and Thursday seems to be the days that Congress officially will allow people to be confirmed in. I believe Pam Bondi was confirmed in on a Wednesday or a Thursday, and so was Pete Hegseth, and so was everybody else who was confirmed so far. Obviously, we're still waiting on Kash Patel. We're still waiting on RFK Jr. They are saying that RFK Jr. may be tomorrow. He may be a Thursday confirmation tomorrow. Fingers are crossed. But today, on Wednesday, we have, I'm just going to play it for you so that everybody can be as happy as I am about this. I would like to say that Pam Bondi is the one who is doing the swearing in here of Mrs. Tulsi Gabbard. I, Tulsi Gabbard, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. And that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take this obligation freely. I take this obligation freely. All right, there's more, but that's where it cuts off for Tulsi Gabbard. But the fact of the matter is, she was sworn in the Oval Office with Donald Trump overlooking, while Pam Bondi swore her in with her husband standing there holding the Bible with her hand on the Bible for the swearing in. Tulsi Gabbard is officially the Director of National Intelligence, and not a single Democrat voted yes for her. Not a single Democrat voted yes for her, is what I've been seeing, whether it's on Benny Johnson's page, Nick Sorter, Charlie Kirk. Everybody's saying that not a single Democrat said yes to Tulsi Gabbard being the Director of National Intelligence, which I think is very interesting. They try to say, oh, she has ties with China, or not China. She has ties with Russia. She has this, she has that. She's part of the World Economic Forum. I think people have said that she has connections to the World Economic Forum. Let me explain to you. I see a woman who is a badass, who put on the uniform of the United States, the military, and went to war, and is just, I mean, listen, girls don't have balls, obviously, only boys do. But if she had balls, if girls had balls, she'd have the biggest balls. She'd be right up there with Trump and big balls that way. You know what? Anyway, I think it's amazing that she is in, and I think she's going to do a great job. I personally believe that having Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. in the cabinet with Trump is a way to start to really bring people back together. Because, like we've talked about numerous times, they were Democrat, then they went in independent, and then they went Republican. They both have said, you know what, we have changed our parties, which I talked about before. It's very hard to do. It's almost as difficult as changing your religion. It's not very often that you go from being Baptist to Jewish, or vice versa. Going from Democrat to Republican, I have to assume, is the same kind of massive change that most people aren't willing to undertake, because it involves opening your mind up to something different, right? And for Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. both to look at the Democrat Party and say, this is not the party that I grew up with. This is not the party that was for the people. This party, I don't recognize it anymore. I don't understand it anymore. The Republican Party makes more sense. They are for the people. They are for the Constitution. They are for the United States of America first. That makes more sense. I am, taking my talents to the Republican side. That's a LeBron joke. I'm taking my talents to South Beach, which was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life, when that man had a whole entire sit down special because he was leaving Cleveland to go to the Miami Heat, because in Cleveland he couldn't win a championship, so he went to Miami and built a team so that he had a better chance. And it is what it is, but I hated the whole I'm taking my talents to South Beach. Ruined LeBron James for me. And then watching him in person at a game one time and just watching him cry and bitch and moan and act like a drama queen on the court. Done. Not the point. Way off topic. Either way, Tulsi Gabbard has officially been confirmed. They are saying that tomorrow it will be RFK Jr., and I'm very much looking forward to that. There are people who are saying that they are going to vote for RFK Jr. despite how he feels about vaccines. That has been a huge sticking point for a lot of people on the Democrat side, and even maybe some on the Republican side, and maybe some within our country who are like, I don't know about him because of how he views these things. But if you guys check out my X account later, there's a link somewhere on YouTube itself, because I cannot talk about these things here and I cannot show you these things here. I have reposted on X the things that are inside the things that RFK Jr. has an issue with, and once you look at like the ingredients of things, you're gonna be like, what the fuck, right? Like, I can't even go farther, but just check it out later whenever you have a chance, because it will help you understand why RFK Jr. may feel the way that he does about certain things. But you have people who are saying, I'm going to say yes to him because despite how I feel about his thoughts on those, I agree that we need to make America healthy again. I agree that we have way too much obesity in this country. I agree we have way too many chemicals in our foods, all these different things, right? It's still too hot. It's a metal cup and it's very warm, but I need coffee. Hold on. Burns the esophagus. So you have some Democrats that are saying they're going to vote for him, and I think that's great. It shows the ability to open your mind, whether you're on the left or on the right. There are plenty of Republicans who, when Biden was in office, voted for people that Biden had picked that were Democrats, that saw maybe a positive lining or something. Sarah says, take the lid off the coffee. Ma'am, have you met me? I'll pour that whole thing down the front of my shirt like a dumbass somehow, because I can't do it. I got to leave the lid on. It's the only way to stay safe and shirt dry. Um, Either way, tomorrow is supposed to be the confirmation. I am curious to see how it goes and how it plays out at the end of it all. If they do, all right, can you guys hear me now? Is it better? Did it work? Are we back? Somehow, I told you guys, fucking iPhones. Apple is trash. It turned on my Bluetooth. It was going through the phone, through the car, and then randomly my car said no, and it disconnected even though it still said Bluetooth was on. Apple is on crack. I am not a fan of this effing phone, just FYI. As I was saying, because I have no clue where I was when this all went to shit, what were we talking about? We were talking about Kash Patel. They will wait till the absolute last second to put Kash Patel in to confirm him through, because the second Kash Patel is in, he has said numerous times, and that's where he messed up. He told everybody what he's going to do. You're not supposed to tell anybody what you're going to do. You're supposed to keep your plans to yourself, and then, ta-da, bitches, this is what I'm doing. But he told everybody ahead of time. He said, hey, y'all, the second I'm confirmed, Epstein files, gonna let the list go, and now everybody is terrified, and so they are not confirming Kash Patel, because, again, the second he is in, their names are going to be all over the news. Probably not the news. Let's backtrack that. They're going to be all over social media, because, mainstream media is going to cover everybody's ass on the left. They're not going to, call out Bill Clinton. They're not going to call out whoever else. There's plenty of names, Obama, Diddy, all them. They're not going to call out all these people. They're going to pretend like it doesn't exist and just, float over it, whatever else. And it's going to be X and YouTube and even Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and places like that. They're going to be the ones who break the thing wide open after Kash Patel is confirmed and releases the list of everything. I think it's going to be great, and I am looking forward to it immensely. I do want to bring up to you guys real quick, just 15 minutes ago, Trump was in the White House with his, I don't know if it's considered a press briefing when he's doing it. Press briefings, I think, are only for Caroline Leavitt. He was doing a thing in the White House, and he says, I'm not going to play the whole thing. It's 2 minutes long or whatever, and I have a very short time frame today. So he says, The Department of Education is a con job. We spend more per pupil than any other country, but we're ranked 40th. That means something's really wrong, right? I say send it back to the states. So we already know Donald Trump wants to just do away with the Department of Education. He's talked about it numerous times. He said he's sick and Elon on it. That's going to be a thing. Department of Education, cut it, right? But he wants to send it back to the states. And for some reason, the left is losing their ever-loving minds over this. And I'm like, wouldn't you rather it be in the states' hands versus federal hands? It doesn't make sense to me to get mad that the federal government is going to give the states themselves the say in how their children in their state are educated. Here's the thing. If I don't like the way the federal government is doing something, I have to leave the whole effing country. I have no other choice but to leave the whole country. If I dislike the way my state is doing something, pick my little ass up and move over a state and set it back down and start again. You can't do that when it's with federal whatever else. So when you give it back to the states, just like, side note, the abortion ban is with the states, and that also is not a Trump abortion ban. I will remind people of this every effing day of my life, that it was overturned during the Biden-Harris administration, and all it did was give it back to the states. Had nothing to do with Trump whatsoever. Not the point anyway. Giving the states back some sort of say in what happens within their state is not a bad thing at the end of the day, in my personal opinion. Now, does it mean that you're going to have some states where people leave them and other states where people flock to them? Yes. Same thing happened in Florida during C-19 and the mandates of masks and all this other stuff. Why do you think I live in Florida? I was not about to let my child be mandated to do something in order to go back to public school. So we picked up and we moved to Florida, where certain things were not mandated that you jab inside your child, that have no scientific real backing to it. So we moved to Florida, and it's the best thing we've ever done, because next week we close on our house, our forever home. So again, I love it. The people getting mad at Trump are the people who don't understand. Look, there's so much to talk about right now. I'm leaving the iPad. Okay, we're going personal here for a second. There's a lot of news, but again, this is going to be a shorter live stream because I do have Pilates soon. This is personal. I told you guys, y'all know I have Facebook. I talk about it all the time. I'm on Facebook just so there's a way for family to stay in touch with each other versus just texting each other all the time. Like, I see videos and pictures and whatever else, right? And I am friends. I use this very, very loosely with the term friends. I have people on Facebook that I have befriended on Facebook, that either because my daughter played softball with their kids, or because I went to school with them, my husband worked with them, things like that, right? And I've talked about this person before, and I'm gonna do it again. Well, actually, this might be a different one. This person on my Facebook feed pops up every once in a while, and normally it's fine. It's not political. It's just whatever. Here's my daughter. Here's the family. Here's whatever going on, right? But yesterday, she posted up about Donald Trump. And she posted about the Gulf of America, y'all, the Gulf of America. And she posted up how stupid it is and blah, blah, blah. And we've had this conversation so many times, posted up how incredibly stupid it is. And me, knowing good and damn well that I could have just kept scrolling and just not paid attention, thought to myself, you should reply. You should just make one small little reply, because maybe she's not aware. Maybe she doesn't know that she's stupid. You should let her know that she's stupid, but do it in a nice way. So that's what I did. I nicely told her she was stupid by giving her information that she did not have, or refused to go look for, or refused to pay attention to. She says, Gulf America is stupid. It's for his ego. It's all about his ego. And I said, no, actually, it's actually very, very smart. Here's the thing. When it was Gulf of Mexico under Biden, he had an executive order that we could not do anything in the Gulf of Mexico. Donald Trump comes in and realizes that that area we need to be able to get into, so he changed it to Gulf of America. It's like a loophole, and ta-da, we're back in action, baby. And she replied to me, and I said it as nicely as humanly possible. She replied to me, she goes, exactly, it's an ego move. I'm sorry. Did you not read what I wrote? Did it not compute for some reason? Or do you really just hate the man enough that you refuse to even attempt to let whatever brain cell you may have understand what is going on? Why is it so difficult to listen to somebody else and see where they're coming from? I listen to libtards all the time. Does it make me want to bang my head on the wall? Yes, it does. Do I have a drink sometimes afterwards? Hell yes, depending on how much I have to listen to. But the fact of the matter is, I listen and I try to understand. I will literally step back. I will physically, I've caught myself doing it, physically take a step back and go, okay, let me just try to put my head so far up my ass that I can see their point of view. Hold on, let me attempt this. And I try to see where they're coming from. I try every single time. And at the end of the day, I go, no, they're just stupid and they don't understand and they're just parroting things. Well, my daughter, 15, y'all, we're sitting on the couch last night and she's on her phone and she's texting back and forth. And she looks up at me and she says, is Trump bad? And I said, no. And I said, why? She goes, well, because my friends, they're talking like he's bad. They keep saying all this other stuff and all this other stuff. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? She goes, well, I'm explaining to them where they're wrong and like what it really means and how they're not getting like all the information. And she's like, and they're like, why? So you're a Trump lover? And she goes, no, but I love my parents and I trust my parents and I listen to my parents and my parents are telling me that this is the case. And I told her, I said, see what you just said there? It's because you love me and you trust me and your dad and you know that we would never lie to you. Your friend's parents may possibly be having the same conversations with their kid, but from a completely inaccurate standpoint. And those kids are going, but they're my parents and I love them and they would never lie to me. And so I trust them. And so these kids are on completely opposite sides of what is wrong or what is right because they're listening to completely different sets of parents. And I tried to explain that to my daughter. I said, it's not that your friends are stupid. Like, it's not that they're wrong. It's not that they're stupid. It's not that they're ignorant. It's that they are listening to people that they trust. I said, that is what happens to a lot of people who listen to mainstream media. You think you're supposed to trust them because they're journalists. They're the media, right? You expect to trust them. Just like the previous president. You listen to him because you think you're supposed to trust him. He's the president. People voted him in, the air quotes there. And he would never do anything that's wrong for the citizens of this country. He's supposed to take care of them. So you trust him. And I told her, I said, what's going to happen is either your friends one day will see something that does not align with what their parents have told them or what they believe, and it will make them question it, or they're going to see something that doesn't align with it, and it's going to make them double down on everything that their parents are telling them, and they're going to pretend like whatever they just saw could not have possibly been real or true and whatever else. And I told her, I said, you know, at 15, I don't know that you want to have these conversations with your friends. You're a freshman in high school. You don't want to lose friendships over stuff like this. You have to realize that at your age, most kids your age are not having the kind of conversations that we have with you. Most parents are not talking to their younger kids about the elections or about what's going on in other countries or about the price of food or why the housing market is doing what it's doing, what drill baby drill means, why wind turbines are bad, why fracking could be good, all these different things. Most people aren't having these conversations. Her friends that she's having these conversations with happen to be Hispanic girls. 2 of them are Hispanic girls, and they have parents who are telling them that Trump is saying that all illegals are criminals. And it's like, well, no, Trump never said all illegals are criminals or all illegals are bad. However, if you are here illegally, technically you are a criminal. And I told her that, and I said, but don't send it to your friends like that, because all it's going to do is cause issues between you and your friends. I want her, obviously, to try to teach her friends correctly, and I'd like her to try to steer them in the right direction, but at the same time, I don't want her losing friends over politics, which I don't want anybody losing friends over politics, right? It's not a good way to lose anybody, but I still think that she needs to know where to just go, okay, you know what I mean? Okay, and that's that. That's what I think she needs to do. So we have the conversations, she talks to her friends, and afterwards today we picked her up from school and I said, how was it in school today after all of your conversation last night? She goes, oh, it's fine. And I was like, are they mad at you for seeing differently than them? Because generally speaking, if they are not Trump fans, they loathe you if you are a Trump supporter, right? They automatically call you MAGA like it's a bad thing, because making America great again obviously is horrible, ooh, whatever. And she was like, no, everything is fine. And I said, did you talk about politics in school? She goes, no. And then she goes, I mean, we text about it, but they don't want to have the conversation face to face. And I told her, I said, I wonder if that's because they know face to face, it's harder for them to hold on to whatever they think. But also, most kids don't want to think that their parents are wrong. You know, believe it or not, we grow up thinking, oh, my mom doesn't know shit, right? But in certain things, you don't want to think your parents are wrong. You don't want to think that they are steering you the wrong direction. They don't want to you don't want to think they're lying to you, and you don't want to think your parents are ignorant, and you don't want to have to go back and tell your parents they're stupid because you've learned something new or a truth or whatever else. So it's just a very interesting spot for kids these days to be in, especially kids whose parents happen to be on YouTube talking positively about Trump and Republicans and conservative and the country, right? Versus the libtard left, because these kids are growing up on TikTok. These kids are growing up on just absolute bullshit. So anyway, that's that. One more and then back on. It was really good. It's my Tim Horton. Yeah, Tim Horton is my Canadian coffee, as I like to call it, because Tim Horton, I had it for the very first time when we were in Canada, not realizing Tim Horton is basically just Canada's version of McDonald's. It's the same damn thing. They're the same coffee, but it's actually very, very good. Okay, that's that. Y'all, like I said, we'll go through a lot more tomorrow. There's some Pam Bondi stuff to go through. There's some Caroline Levitt stuff to go through. There's some Pete Hegseth stuff to go through. There's some more Trump stuff to go through. But like I said, today was a shorter day for me. My husband and I had a lunch date today to celebrate yesterday's call for Clear to Close that we got. So we had fun lunch on the water today. It had a burger. It was very, very tasty. But now I got to go do some Pilates and then go home and cook dinner for the family, because family first over everything, always. I love you guys immensely. I appreciate you immensely. Thank you for being here, and I will see you guys again tomorrow, probably early tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Thursday? Probably early tomorrow, and I will be paying attention to see when this RFK Jr. confirmation is supposed to happen, because I was blindsided by the Tulsi one today. I didn't know if there was a heads up or whatever. I just opened up X and it was like, ta-da, Tulsi's in, and I was like, well, damn, yay, but I missed it, right? I wanted to see it and I missed it. So I'll be paying attention for RFK Jr. tomorrow. Maybe we can actually do this live while it's happening, if I can figure out when it's happening. And until then, I hope y'all have a fabulous rest of your hump day. For those of you who have significant others or whatever, end the day with a bound chicka wow wow if you can. It's a great way to go to sleep. And besides